How's it going? This is Cyphus from the High Tech Community Forums. In game, I'm known as Stomp Lab. In my last video, I covered level bombing, carpet bombing, how to white flag a town in a single pass using the town killer, the Lancaster. Okay. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to do precision level bombing, and we're going to be using the Tutu. I find that the Tutu is probably one of the best light medium bombers, heavy attack aircraft in the game. But that's just my personal preference, okay? So we're going to take off from, show you guys the screen, from A39, and we're going to hit probably the vehicle hangar at 94 and maybe a fighter hangar while we're there. So we're going to choose a Tutu. Bam, there it is, the Tu-2S. We're going to carry the 1,000 pound internal, 2,000 pound on the wing points. Some people like to carry the two 500 pounders too. That way you have enough ordnance to knock down 4 buildings. For this tutorial, we're just going to use the 3. Okay, we're going to take off on runway west. Start our engines. There they go. We're going to full throttle it. Use the rudders to kick it to keep it on the runway, because nobody wants to go four-wheeling in an airplane. I'm going to whip it up. Push down on my flight stick a little bit. There we go. I'm going to pay attention to my drones. They start lifting off. I lift off. Gears come up. Doors open. All right. We're going to climb at a rate of 150 indicated. All right. So just waiting for it to level out at 150. There you go. Speed 150. That's going to get us to climb at a good rate. Okay. In the last tutorial, I also covered gun positions and how you can fly from them. So I'm going to reinforce that because it's important. If you want to keep your autopilot on, fly from one of your gun positions using your rudder. Right? Don't use a control input with your ailerons and elevators. You want to use your rudders. So I'm going to go to gun position 2. I'm going to look backwards. And there you go. And it's turning ever so slowly. One of the good things is your drones will stay with you a lot better when you're flying. In this manner, you can make sharper turns. Okay. Now this will be interesting if I can get up to altitude prior. I may have to circle. Pretty much I'll just keep this angle right here, maybe a little bit steeper of a turn, and just circle over the base one time, and I should be up to about 4,000 or 5,000 feet, 6,000 feet. And it's okay to do this, to circle over your own airfield. It's, some people might think it's a waste of time, but it's normal in this game. Okay. One thing you want to make sure before you fly any type of bomber is that you're willing to put in the time commitment, because it does take a lot of time and a lot of patience to fly these dang things, and you'll have better success and much higher reward if you do take your time and you learn how to fly these things, and you learn how to aim, learn how to calibrate, kind of learn what they're capable of. You'll do real good inside this game, and it'll be a huge asset. Okay, so right now I'm at at 4,900 feet, coming up on 5,000. There it goes. On this one, I'm going to come up over this base, probably at 9K, 10K. One of the best things you can do is make sure that you're able to top out your speed before you calibrate. Some people say that there's a sweet spot in the speeds on like B17s and B24s and stuff like that, and I find that it doesn't really matter. Just as long as your speed stays consistent, you don't have any massive fluctuations in your speed, you should be all right. Coming up on 9,000 feet, and we'll level out there. There are times where you're going to be playing with your RPMs and all that. If the base is super close and you want to level out your speed, you can go to your E6B and your where's that? Your climb rate. Once you get that zeroed out, you're good to go. Give this a little more time to do its thing. Got something hanging out in the water there. Sure. Okay. There's that. We'll just pretend that's a whale. Okay, so we're coming up on the coast. Our doors are open. We've got our internal loadout selected. And now we're just waiting to see the airfield. It should be somewhere up in front of us. Oh, there she is. Okay. So we're going to adjust. Now the vehicle hangar is going to be on the opposite end of this row of hangars I'm about to dead even with. The very last building, right? Chill. That's what we're going to blow up. So now I need to recal. Okay, so now we're going to zoom in. Oh, almost got it perfect. The little tiny building is what we're going to blow up. Now we're doing dead on 296 indicated, or true ground speed. So we're going to go ahead and dump up on this thing. All it's going to need is one salvo and it's going to go boom. Okay. And it's out. So that's probably going to go bye-bye. If you notice, I'm up above their axe ceiling, their range, and so I'm not getting fired at. It's pretty nice. So the only thing I'd have to worry about up here is fighters bouncing me. Let's see if it goes down. Okay, vehicle hangar down. And I was almost dead on with it. So now what we want to do is we want to swing back around to pick up a couple of those hangars. Now if I line this up properly, I can pick up 2 fighter hangars with 1 pass. And the ones I'm referring to are this guy and this guy, or this guy and that guy. And then it'll be, then I'll egress back to probably 149 or 139, it doesn't matter. One of the things with these bombers is when you're landing, they get slow speed, they get really, really squirrely, and they don't like to stay in the air. So you got to be careful of that, and also the flaps work a little bit different with these, where the flaps in most of your aircraft, when you put them down, you get lift, right? It'll bring the front end of your plane up. This one doesn't. You throw flaps out, it makes it dip. Now, if we do this turn properly, it's not centered, bugging me. Oh well. Or we'll maintain our speed and maybe have to do a quick recal, and that's about it. The whole time we want to make sure we keep that airfield, well, fog down here, so we'll just keep turning. Okay, there she is. She's marked by the flames. If we do this right, I'll be able to pick up 2 hangars and then head back to base. And if you have 2 of these, 2 box formations of these, you can shut an airfield down and pretty much in 1 pass. If I wanted to, I could have picked off that first fighter hangar, the one sitting over there by the bomber hangar. One on the big row, the very first building was a fighter hangar. Had I wanted to, I could have taken that out there and then swung back around and picked up 1 more. But that would be, defeats the purpose of this tutorial. Okay, I'm gonna fly like this for a minute. And I'll have to do some minor adjustments in the scope, but nothing too crazy. And normally by this point there's some sort of fighter resistance up, and you've got to contest with fighters trying to shoot you down and all sorts of crap. So there we go. Got this one and this guy right there. These two. That's the ones I'm going to drop. May not get them because of my speed variance, but that's all right. Let's see what happens. Come on, boom, biscuit. Oh, just missed that one. That means I'm probably going to miss this one too. Okay, so I got one of them. So on that first one, what ended up happening is I did not allow for the speed variance, the difference, like I was talking about when we first started this sorting. Okay, so that's what happens when you don't account for it. You miss it. It's probably soft. You know, you could probably go in with cannons and gun it down, but that's not for me. That would be for the support aircraft unless I get my drone shot, and then this aircraft works perfectly fine as a heavy attack aircraft. And I've had fighters run from this aircraft, and it's on some of my live streams that I do. There's a couple of them where they run because they just don't want to fight it because it's a very, very nimble fighter. Thing turns really, really good. Okay, so you remember how I told you about the angle? This is when the angle mode comes in really, really really handy, rather. I want to decrease my speed, and I want to drop an elevation as well, right? I want to descend, but I don't want to gain any speed, right? Because I had to put this thing on the ground, right? And I have to be able to stop it on the runway. So that's where the angle comes in handy. If I chop my throttle, I pull my RPMs out of it, right? And I angle myself down, was it 10 degrees when I'm at? Something like that. You can see that I'm dropping altitude pretty good, and my speed is going down. Now there's going to come a point to where the speed zeroes itself out, which means I will have to give it a shallower dive, but I won't have to do that until I get about halfway over the ocean. Sorry that this is such a long video like the last one, but there's a lot to this as far as climbing out and prepping your aircraft and getting ready to drop bombs. And we'll do a recap once I get back in the hangar for what we covered. Okay. So now I need to go level for a little bit and really watch that speed bleed off there. So I need to use my flaps. We should be pretty much dead on with on approach. Okay, there we go. In the main arena, I probably wouldn't land like this. There'd be just too much going on, too many people trying to farm bombers for me to do this. I'd probably wait until I was over my own shore before I started my descent. Alright, always like a call from my son. Alright, we're coming up on the airfield somewhere around here. Oh, there it is. She done lit up. Now we're going to land it. And this should be a pretty straightforward landing. Oh, yep, there's the runway. So we're just going to line up with it. Still got both my drones, yeah? Yep. Yeah, like I said, sorry this is taking so long. These sorties aren't for the I need action now type of people. They're more for the, hey, that's cool, I'm going to take off and go make me a hot pocket or something. Or rapid liquid death. Alright. Now we're lined up on the runway. Let's see if we can hit it right. Not like the the Lancasters in the last video. This one actually should be fairly good. The important thing is when you hit wheels down, you gotta chop your throttle and pull all power out of it. Unless you're hauling ass, and then you need to keep you'll probably need to hit the runway and do a touch and go and circle back around for final. Looks good. She's coming in rather nicely. A little low, I think. Yeah, she's a little low. There you go. That's how you land the bombers. that's how the Lancaster should have looked too, but it didn't. Well, just to recap some things, remember when you take off, make sure you have the appropriate amount of fuel that you're going to need there and back, unless you're going to do a one-way, then it doesn't matter. Make sure you take the proper loadout for the amount of targets you want to destroy. Make sure that you get to your target altitude. And it's okay to circle over your base to get to your target altitude. You know, whoever needs the bombs, they're going to wait. Trust me. All right? Make sure that when you go level, if you are using your war emergency power, turn it off. Okay? Because at some point it's going to turn off, and you don't want it to be while you're calibrating, right? So go under normal power and make sure that you are at your top speed, unless you're playing with your RPMs and you decide that a slower speed is where you need to be, and you're able to manually dial in that speed using your throttle and RPMs. Okay, but you want to make sure that your speed is consistent. When you're over target, always try to get the best line that you possibly can to take out as many targets with one pass. Where I lined up, but I failed to drop on that first hanger because it didn't even dawn on me. I didn't even make the decision to swing back around until after I dropped. Make sure you drop the appropriate amount of ordnance on the structure to drop it. Okay. Another thing that you need to make sure of is that your doors are open, you're properly calibrated, and make sure that you have an egress um, out of your bombing run. Okay, because you're probably going to get bounced by a fighter. And I think that's about it. Oh, no. You got to adjust like I failed to do on that first fighter hangar. I didn't adjust for the deficit between my indicated and my my current speed and my calibrated speed. And that's why I missed that hangar. That was just a miscalc on my part, but I did readjust. I bounced back from it and was able to drop that second hangar with a speed deficit. Okay. So go ahead and jump in the practice arena, and give it a try. It takes a little bit of practice to get it done, but once you get this done, you're able to white flag fields or towns. You're able to precision drop hangars and radar and stuff like that. You truly become an asset to the game and to whoever you're flying with. All right. So with that being said, this is the end of this tutorial, and it's right at 29 minutes and like 15 seconds. So I will leave you guys with that. Thanks for watching.